So I haven't really had any urge to make videos for a while now, as you could probably tell, because I just haven't had a game that really sparked that urge to make a video for me. Closest is probably Final Fantasy 14, but I'm getting my shit kicked in by a worm right now, so that can wait another year. But things like that don't last forever, and sometimes it'll just randomly spark you, such as when you're randomly scrolling and see this stupid fucking anime game and just, wait a minute, that looks really good. Because I've gotta really emphasize, this was a surprise. I played it with average expectations, and I just came out stunned with a surprisingly high level of quality of the game, with great music, fun story, awesome combat. I genuinely haven't been this excited to make a video since my Elden Ring video, to be honest. That was, oh my god, it was almost 4 years ago. But onto the video. And before we begin, we need to start everyone's favorite part of making a boss ranking. Rules. But there really isn't that many rules for this game. I'm just going to state how my ranking criteria really works. First, I'm just going to judge the major boss's final incarnation. Every boss in the game, bar obviously the final boss, has a refight, and I'm just going to go into the better one, which is always the refight. And rule number 2, if a boss has a checkpoint, I'm just going to count that as part of the overall boss, because it is still one cohesive experience. And finally, rule number 3. I don't actually have a third rule, it just felt wrong to only have 2 rules. Let's go. As a boss fanatic, this isn't my first action game, so I do kinda know what to expect from them, and my favorite thing they often have is rival fights. Just the type of boss that gets stronger as you do and really tests your mettle. And what if I told you, this game has a rival fight, and that fight is the weakest fight in the game. Now I will say, one of the toughest parts of ranking rosters that are this good is that every boss is good. I'm not saying this fight is bad, but with the fact that this game only has 7 bosses, one will be the worst even if it is a good boss in any other game standard. So I'm going to make this the most positive, worst boss possible. Because fake Homura Hime is genuinely a good fight. Great positioning, cool combos, great music, and interesting mystery with the big question: who the fuck is this person? And I was genuinely surprised when we found out that she was actually the original, not a clone of you. Wait, she's not fake Homura Hime, then did I really need to call her real Homura Hime? I'm gonna call her Hime. So, with all this praise, you may be thinking, why is this fight the bottom of the list? Well, simple. Everything I just said about her is done nearly as well or better by every other boss in the game, and this especially affects her fucking presentation, especially for a rival fight, because it really feels like she's just missing the final confrontation where you have you and them at your strongest, really pushing each other, and it's this big moment for the story. Especially because she won't stop building this fight up. This is something you expect to happen. And what do you get for all this build up? Fucking
get nothing! You lose! Good day, sir!
Her final fight is treated like a fucking mini-boss, with her even being after an enemy gauntlet, which for such a major character, their final fight, it's just such a weird choice. But this doesn't change the fact that she is still a very good fight. I may have issues with her, but that doesn't change that I have a lot of fun fighting her, and that's really what matters most. But she would still be my top choice for a newer updated fight, because if she had more to her, she could even be amazing. Now, one of my favorite things in this entire game is definitely the boss refights, because unlike a lot of games, I love how it functions as not just a new fight, but also a conclusion to their character arc. Now, this doesn't mean every fight gets the same level of love. Some fights get massive overhauls or even new phases, while other fights only get slight tweaks, but all of them do at least have conclusions to their stories, which I really like, and that's why what I'm basically saying with this is that one of the fights, which probably is my best version of the story on the refight, is the fight that sadly does change the least.
嘘を背負えば引き換えに皆に一筋の光を与えられるならばためらう理由などないでしょ
Now I will say, the main negative of this fight is that it is one of the simpler bosses in the game, probably second simplest fight. Now this doesn't mean she's simple. I don't think any of the bosses in this game are simple by other games' comparison. She still has good positioning, cool combos, and a few mix-ups. That's the thing, she only has a few of these, a taste, while other bosses give you a full meal, or at least a starter. But if she's simpler, why is she above fake Hime? Well, that really comes down to the two main things that she has over her, presentation and story. Her presentation is definitely the main highlight, with my second or third favourite arena in game. And while her move pool is not the most complex, it is still really fun, having one of my favourite grabs as well, where you need to find out which side to dodge to instead of just always dodge the same. And she does have probably my favourite, or at least the most interesting story of the refights, because with her, unlike the others where we're resolving the conflict a different way, like you remember and your characters remember but they don't remember, she does remember, and this actually evolves the conflict as she changed after your last playthrough. And with this, she actually comes to a different conclusion, attempting to actually complete the ritual that her cult had raised her to believe in. And you learn more about this cult throughout the story, about what they did to these children. And I'm not going to say she's like the most complex character ever, but I like how, unlike every character prior, where they're kind of all good people, she's morally grey, she's choosing something pretty fucked up. And I really think that just lets her be a great fight. Even if she was lacking in complexity I would have hoped for a boss like this, I really like the story they went for. It's pretty simple. Like, sure, Hime might have more complexity, but if I like every other aspect of this fight more, and they still do have a fun fight, I think it's fair to put them above. Now, one thing that has been very interesting about this video is that, to be honest, the bottom three are very close for me. I found literally they switched between each refight. Sometimes one was there, sometimes the other was there, because they all are great for different reasons. Hime is more about their mechanics, with very lacking presentation. Shirakui has good mechanics and great presentation. So, do we have someone which is lacking mechanically, but really good presentation-wise? Yeah, so the next boss is the tutorial. Yeah, so after those two bosses, we're going to go to the tutorial boss. Because Agasa, in my opinion, is a perfect example of how to do an easy boss that just works. She's by far the simplest in the game, with few mix-ups, pretty small move pool, forgiving timings. Positioning wise, she's fine, you know, nothing insane, but decent enough. But that doesn't mean she's boring, especially with the refight, with her skipping the phase 1, so just being faster and smart. It really just also makes it so she's constantly moving, and to be honest, it would feel a bit weird if she was tough, since you are literally just beating up a child. But as a tutorial boss, the thing that really puts her above the last two for me isn't actually the fact you're just beating up a child, even though yes, that is one of her best aspects. What puts her above them is that she just has amazing spectacle. As unlike any of the other bosses in the game, once you beat her, she just goes full God of War on you. Which she does do in her original fight, to be fair, which is obviously means that the shock factor won't be as really there at all with the refight. But the fact she starts in the final phase in it, unlike the other where she's really only in that for like less than 0.5% of the fight, gives you this surprisingly great pace against a colossal beast like no other fight in the game. And while yeah, the story isn't as interesting as Shirakuin's for her refight, it perfectly fills the role that she really had for the story, as Agasa was your first fight in the whole game and your first real failure to save someone. She's the real beginning of the tragedy of our first playthrough. And this scene is surprisingly brutal, with her literally crying and begging not to die. It really stuck with me for the entire game. And this meant that when I was learning that I was going to refight the bosses later on and redeem them, I was really excited to go and save her. And the devs clearly knew this, because you save her basically second to last. And they know that's probably because she's the one you'd want to save most, so that'd be your main motivation. And overall, that's kind of the thing with her. Sure, she's not this amazing mechanical fight where she's using mix-ups and big move pool, but she's just a fun spectacle with great story, and it's just a very memorable and fun encounter, and sometimes that's all a boss really needs from it. Oh my god, finally, we're out of the three-way tie that was the bottom three. Because I just gotta say, to be honest, they were all literally just equal for me. Sometimes Augusta was bottom, sometimes she was top. It's changed every single time. But now that they're at the top four, I can say these fights are definitely the highlights of the game. They are considerably above the other three for me. These fights are the real gems of the game and really the ones that showcase what makes this game's combat great. And for the number 4 slot, I've got to go with the boss that, funnily enough, is probably the most improved by their refight. Because this boss went from good to top 4 now. Okay, I don't know, just... Yeah, Ling Ling went from good to great because she wasn't bad or anything, just a lot, or a bit, I should say, less memorable than the other bosses for me, being definitely one of the weaker ones presentation and story-wise. But to be honest, my main issue actually was the writing for this fight. Our characters are just completely out of characters here. With Augusta, I understood why we killed her because we literally tried to spare her and she just wouldn't let us. And then Ling Ling, we just want to kill her. Like, this isn't even like a major character point because with other fights later on who are way less friendly, we will actually try to do the peaceful option. But for some reason with Ling Ling, we just want to kill her, and I don't know why, because she's been friendly the entire time you know her. Now, I will say, this isn't really a Ling Ling issue, this is more just our characters acting weird. Ling Ling's actually the highlight of the moment. She's great, she's entertaining, and her performance is probably the best point acting in the game. It really carried the moment, so even though, yes, it was a weak moment writing-wise, it actually did really work due to her voice acting. But onto the actual fight that we're going to be judging this off, which is the refight, which works far better than the original. First, it has actual reason for you fighting her with the fact that Hime actually caused issues, which makes her believe that you're going to cause issues. And, you know, the reason you fight her is to calm her down. Unlike the original one, where the reason you fight her is because fuck, I don't know, race. And the fight works a lot more tonally because it doesn't take itself seriously now. It's a pretty low stakes fight. You and her are pretty much chill. It's just a simple misunderstanding to fix over and you'll be fine. And with how her and her companion act, with them being kind of just goobers the whole time, getting dizzy and having kind of awkward dialogue, it really works with the tone they're going for now. Unlike before, where you're trying to murder someone for no reason and they're kind of just being funny about it. But look, the writing about this game, I know it, I find it personally enjoyable. That's not really the focus. And what really makes this fight go from good to great is the mechanics. Because she only has 2 changes, but they're fucking big. And the first major change is relatively simple. More king mix-ups, less downtime. That's not really major seen it until you realize her second change. And it's the fucking big one. She summons her little flower buddy, Ha Ling, to attack you in the middle, end, or any point really of her combos. And this can require some really tight positioning, especially when it hasn't really been that required before. It more required just fast reactions to it, and now you have some relatively complex combos while dodging both her and Hua Ling's attacks, which are based on where Hua Ling is summoned. Now, to be fair, they do actually try to balance this out. What they do actually is really smart. They actually give Ling Ling longer combos with more mix-ups, and combos themselves are relatively awkwardly timed, especially with how minimal her downtime is. Wait a minute. Oh, also is she not actually that slow at all? She also is a fucking frog, not a flower girl. with how much she hops around. This fight didn't even get some massive overhaul technically, just the changes she gets entirely changed the feel and flow of the fight. And just when you think you're getting used to it, she was arguably already the most changed of the originals in the refights, and you get an entirely new phase with not just a new moveset, but also just completely changes how you have to fight her. But now she's basically just always airborne, so you need to focus entirely on your aerial combos, which completely requires a different skill set than prior bosses. And it isn't like she's slow in this phase, she still jumps around the arena, so you need to pull these aerial combos out fast. And overall, while to be honest, I don't have as much to say on this phase as phase 1, as I think phase 1 is definitely the highlight of the fight. Phase 2 is still a great phase and just adds a lot to the charm of this boss. Even the name of the phase is fun and stupid, and that just really works for me. From a boss that I just liked with a good few writing critiques, to this, just a fantastic surprise, to be honest. Now, one thing you've probably noticed as you've been watching the video is that nearly every boss is pretty high stakes in this game. Like, just look at the earlier fights. You have your clone who's been hunting you and everyone you care down to kill you. A woman raised by a cult since childhood to be sacrificed. A lonely child looking for her only living family after a tragedy tore them apart. A young girl who only wanted to save everyone, yet is thought of as a villain. And now, two dogs who want to fight you because, I don't know, fighting's fun. Yeah, that's basically the whole motive for the fight. They want to fight you because they just want to fight you. And most likely, that's why you want to fight them. It's simple, yet perfect motivation. Especially since this is a festival for battle, and you should just be able to enjoy the festivities. No major story, just a cool spectacle and a fun fight against two fast sisters. And while yes, they are coordinated in their attacks, the fact that there's two of them completely changes how this fight works. Whether you're attacking or dodging, you need to pay attention to both of them. And with the rematch especially, their combos are just longer and doesn't have the teaching phase. So this stance is better and faster, straight from the start. And as this fight goes, it goes from fast to holy shit when they buff their weapons. Just more mix-ups, more combos, more AoEs, just more everything. God, this is just a really fun coordinated gank as we dance around both their moves and both their combos and all these cool shit they can pull out. And then, as you finally think you've reached the peak of this fight, they straight up fucking Dragon Ball fuse into a... Oh, what the... Yeah, I gotta be honest, I'm just not sure on this design. This is too much. Like, just... But you know what makes up for that? Literally everything else, because outside of this design, the fight improves in almost every aspect. Now, while it does have a checkpoint, which to be honest I'm not normally a fan of, I think this game does do checkpoints well, because in the game it allows the phases themselves to feel more whole instead of like a stepping stone for the whole fight. And while I do still personally prefer no checkpoints, I do understand this is how you do them right when they do have a checkpoint, so I think it worked. But what really makes this phase so amazing is they're just insanely fast and fun combos, with each combo having fast and varied and how you have to dodge, parry, jump, all inside of one combo that goes insanely fast paced, which can really catch you out. Which in my opinion really makes up for her lacking mix-ups, because when combos are this fun and fast, I don't mind not having mix-ups. And just dodging these cool combos while this festive music is just rooting for you the whole time, and it just gets faster and faster as it goes on until you're just in this constant high pressure dance. It's just such a good feeling, and it all just culminates in this amazing grand finale as she plays the drums to the music beat and you have to dodge all this stuff. It's so fun, it fits the tone perfectly, and this is just an example of a fun boss fight, and that's really what matters most to me in the end of the day. Sure, all these things are important. Yes, I would prefer if she had a better design, but God, she's just fun. Now it is time for the true deciding point of a list like this. Number 2. where all will be revealed. Because after this, we all know who number 1 is going to be. So this is the real one where you're going to find out who number 1 is. Well, if you've played the game. And from what I've seen, it's relatively interchangeable within the community. Most admit these are the top 2, the rest were always going to be behind it. And let's just stop stalling. Let's all cool down.
I want to die.
時間の無駄だな。
Yeah, to be honest, the only surprising thing about her is that she isn't number 1, I think. Just to give you a clue of how much better she really is, her normal fight, pre-replay, is already above every single other boss by a large margin. She just really has it all. Mix-ups, tight positioning, some of the hardest moves in the whole game. Great pacing, only surpassed by my number 1, I'd say. And even her story is arguably best, with her sister's tragedy being like the main focus of the base game and a large portion of our second half. So you may ask, what does the rematch actually add to this amazing fight? And the thing is, not really much. All it really did is remove the training wheels and take what she already did amazingly and just made it better. Sure, this isn't anything major compared to say Twins or Ling Ling, but if you take an amazing fight, make them better, that's really all you need a lot of the time. And God, it's good, because just that feeling when you're listening to this amazing music while dodging these and parrying these amazing combos. It's just such a good feeling that very few bosses really fully get, that really just fully immerse you in the fight. And this all perfectly fits this samurai dual aesthetic as you hear this beautiful music and parry your moves. It's just perfect for what the game is going for. And funnily enough, I actually found her a better rival fight than her actual rival because of, first of all, parallels between her characters, between her and Agasa and you and Anne, as well as her being your literal opposite elementally, ice and fire. It just narratively fits a lot better, and I almost thought the game meant her to be your actual rival because of how it built her up throughout the mission as the strongest samurai compared to you, who's the strongest. I forgot we were Soul Reaper? I don't fucking know. So yeah, while this mightn't be the most majorly changed like Ling Ling or Twins, that's fine because this fight is near perfect as is. And why change something that's perfect instead of just improve on it?
さあ来い。すべて終わらせてやる。
If there is one thing I really want you to take away from this video, it is that Homura Hime's boss roster is fantastic. Every fight, even Hime, is very fun, and the small roster really allows every encounter to feel important, instead of just some feel like a filler encounter. And the reason I'm saying this is that I do not want everything to be clouded by this, because I'm going to need to reveal something, and that is that with number 1, it's not even close. Even number 2 is leagues below them for me. I already knew my number 1 before I even beat this boss, and the more I refought them, the more obvious it was that they were going to be number 1. And that's not a complaint, because what else could be number 1 than a perfect finale to the game?
Homura Hime. 私は
Yeah, Admini is the type of boss that I would just recommend someone gets the game just for the fight if they could afford it. It is just an absolute masterpiece of boss design. But why are they so much better than everyone else? Well, pretty simple to be honest. Everything I praised every other boss for, including Miyuki, Admini just does better. Best story, best mechanics, best spectacle, best character in the game. It's just the best fight in every single regards. But I'm just going to stop just saying that it's better and get into why it's better. And let's start chronologically with the build-up for this fight. Because since basically the intro of the game, it has been dropping subtle hints of this encounter and, well, build-up to it happening. Things such as weird notes that really do not fit the aesthetic of the game, some NPCs having this weird glitchy aesthetic, and moments where Homer is acting out of character for no apparent reason. And as you go on, it just gets weirder and weirder with the physical game literally just glitching out and not really getting any answers as you just get more and more confused in what's going on. And then you finally reach the finale and you find the answer. Wait a minute, is that motherfucker? Oh yeah, and also Anne was actually an AI made to control you who went rogue. But I'm gonna be honest, I was more stunned at the Dio. And then after that, the final boss really starts, and this is a weird fight, to be honest. While nearly every other one, even twins, are still human, or at least humanoid for skeleton thing, this fight is not really. It's like a brick person holding two massive fucking cannons that slap around psychically and shoot at you. And somehow it actually really works. Every move feels really weighty and fun, and you constantly have to reposition between each of their combos with a surprising amount of mix-ups and reaction checks that caught me off guard a lot for this fucking big cannon guy. And this fight has a nice enough flow, which yes, he does still have the pauses, but he still always feels like he gets faster as the fight goes on, and it's just really fun to deal with fun moves, nice mix, jumps. Everything I really praise for this game and for combat-wise is in this phase, which is really weird for such a fucking unique fight, really. But look, this phase is great, but I know it, you know it. If this was the fight, it would not be number one. Because the real number one is when phase 2 happens, which I knew was going to happen, but I didn't fucking expect, to be honest. Because when the phase transition ended, I was against a bunny girl mech. This is cinema. And this boss is tough, but also amazing, with the longest combos in the game, most mix-ups to this point, and relentless aggression, barely giving any time between her combos, as well as some really deceptive combo enders where you think it's over and then she smacks you in the face with a new one. And she has, by a lot, I would say, the biggest move pool in the whole game. Every time I think, okay, I've seen all the moves, she'll put on a new move or a mix-up or something that just smacks me in the face and humbles me again. This fight is just perfect. It's fun, great atmosphere, great story. It just works. Every move she pulls out is satisfying and fun to deal with and fast and varied. It's a perfect boss and already the best boss in the game. And then...
私が望む世界。私は少女が傷つく姿を二度と見たくありません。
She has a final goddamn phase. And this isn't just a spectacle phase. I don't just mean she's as good as phase 2. I mean she's better than phase 2. And not just that, this is one of the best phases I have ever faced, with her having a completely new move pool, mixing her own new moves from her phase 2, new moves of her own, and combining prior bosses' moves in the game on top of her own. But look, I'm gonna be honest, that's not what makes her one of the best bosses of all time. The thing that makes her the best boss of all time is that she is a fucking mix-up queen. With most bosses in the game, I will be honest, mix-ups aren't that big a part of the focus. It's more dodging each move sequentially into the next move, jump, parry and stuff. But with her, it's a mix of all, and you gotta stay on your toes. She uses more mix-ups than every fucking boss in this game combined. Even with phase 1 and 2 of this fight, sure, they would have mix-ups and combos, but often it would still just be 1 or 2 mix-ups. She can just do whatever the fuck she wants, I swear. She just makes shit up as she goes. Because this fight, you have no control of that distance. You can't just wait for her to finish her combos. You need to get those mid-combo punishes, or she will last fucking 20 minutes. And that means you gotta dance with her. You can't just let her control it. You need to go into her tempo and match her. This isn't a parry match. This is a dance where you must dodge, jump, parry on the fly. There's no way for you to get ready for any attack because she can do whatever the fuck she wants. And not just does she have all these mix-ups and varied responses, she also has the hardest move in the game with her grab, which is fast, difficult to dodge, and she can mix up between it and a normal slash, so you need to constantly stay on your toes or she will fucking steamroll you. And not just that, her downtime is minuscule, so you basically have no time to just bury yourself. You need to be ready for anything she can pull out, because she can pull out anything and she will give you very little time to prepare. And all of this while you're listening to this amazing theme that just hypes you up. It's hard to emphasize without fighting the boss just how good it is. Dodging these insane combos, jumping, parrying, it just works. And this is the type of boss that makes me remember why I love bosses, why I like making videos on bosses. If this phase was an hour, it would be too short. And after this amazing climax, you get the finale of the game. And it's this weird mix of hype that I finished and beat this amazing boss and sadness that I did kill a character I genuinely really did like. And while I obviously did expect this to happen, to be honest, it happens a lot in games like this with your companion, it still didn't feel good, because having to kill your companion, who's been nothing but adorable the entire game, is genuinely upsetting. And in the end of the day, does it matter that much if the finale just worked? After I finished it, I just sat there stunned in silence, because it was just a perfect finale. Just what a perfect boss, and what an amazing game. I just really wanted to come back here and say, genuinely, thanks to everyone who watched this video. If you got anything from this video, I just hope it's to give this game a try if you are at all interested. It isn't some flawless masterpiece, it does have iffy character designs and some poorly done transitions. But it's just a game clearly made with a lot of passion and love from its developers, and you can feel it while you're playing. Thank you for watching. I hope to see you in the next video, which will probably be when I beat this goddamn fuck.